Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're checking out a cool little teleprompter here called the Parrot. This is a little device that you can stick on the front of your digital SLR or camcorder, and then you just put an Android or iPhone underneath it here. You just kind of lift up this little platform, or lift down this little platform, and the springs will hold it in place, and you can project an image onto the glass here and be able to read a script. It will work with an app that they have for their device, but you can also use just about any teleprompting app out there, and I've got a great one that I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But very simple design. It actually feels pretty cheap. The plastic isn't the highest quality. You can see some of the glue lines here on the glass. They are handmade. And this is about $150 right now. I paid a little bit less when they had their Kickstarter running, but it does what it says it's supposed to do, and that's a pretty cool thing. So there's a couple of components to it. You've got this part here, which is the business end, so you can put your phone on here, get it slid in there, and get ready to go. It does have a lot of tension on these springs, so there is some tension put against your screen. Now, my screen is cracked, not from this. I dropped the phone, so don't get worried about that, but I am a little bit nervous about what it does on the tension side, because there's nothing to like cushion the connection between the phone and the bottom of the teleprompter here. It kind of just rests against the plastic, the hard plastic. So it won't scratch your screen, but if you have some sand in between or something, it might. So just keep that in mind. But it does hold the phone in place very well, very, very tight, which is what you want when you have one of these things. Then they have some of these little adapters that you need to pair up with the camera you want to use. So this one does both a 58 millimeter as well as a 77 millimeter. So you can kind of unscrew one of these from the other. So the 77 I use on my SLR, and then the 58 here works with most of my camcorders. And what you do is just kind of screw it into the kind of the filter screws on your lens here. So sometimes you might buy those little wide-angle lenses or something for a camcorder. It kind of assembles itself the same way. So you screw that in there, and then you just slide the device in like so, and you've got yourself a teleprompter. So what I'm going to do now is boot up the app, and we'll play around with it a little bit and see how it works. All right, so we've got the phone attached now to our little teleprompter here. You can see it looks pretty cool on the camera. Now, you're going to notice, though, that the text is reversed. So we have to go into the settings on the app and change that. So there's a little button down here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to push on that. And that'll bring up a menu here on the left. I'll pull that up so you can see what it looks like. And here you can kind of adjust some options like the speed of the scrolling, the size of the text, and some other things. And what I'm going to do is go over to the mirror script option, and that will reverse it. So now what I'm going to do is scroll back up to the top of this menu, quit out of the menu, and now you can see we're still backwards because it has to get oriented properly. So if I do that, then we're ready to go. So it's not the best interface, because when it's in the position that it needs to play in, you have to go ahead and reach all the way back into the back of the phone near the glass here to get that to work, but it will start playing the script. I also don't like that it doesn't give you everything that's coming ahead, just what you're supposed to be reading right now. So it's not the best app in the world. As you can see on my screen here, you actually see a little bit more of the text than we're seeing right now with my camera lights on. So you can't really see the dimmed out text all that well. You can change the color and stuff, but it really isn't the best interface that you can find. But while this is playing here, I am going to pull up the image that this camera is currently seeing, so you can see that we're not seeing the text scrolling on screen right now as we're playing back here. So it is pretty good at keeping everything out of the eyes of the recording as it's happening. That dark splotch over there is just a shadow, because I don't usually shoot in this direction, but it does seem to work very, very well. Now, my favorite app for teleprompting is called Teleprompt Plus 3, and I actually can control it from my watch, which is pretty cool. So I can hit the play button on my watch here and start the script and stop it. You can also do similar things from like an iPad or another iOS device to be able to beam the script back and forth and then get it started without having to get up again. That's a really helpful thing if you're a one-person show, because to have to get up, go back to your teleprompter on the actual camera, hit the button, run back into position and start again, that's a bit of a pain. So that's one of the things that I liked about Teleprompt Plus 3, is that it can be remotely controlled by the talent, which makes it a lot easier. The only issue, though, with using other apps is that the Parrot here has kind of a narrow width to it. So I have an iPhone 6 here. This is like pretty much the sweet spot for size, but as you can see, there is still some overlap where the screen will run underneath where the Parrot ends. So you're going to lose some margin here on the screen. The Parrot app does have margin control, but Teleprompt 3 and many other apps do not. not. So I'm going to write to the people that make Teleprompt 3 to see if they can add a margin feature to it, because I think this is a really killer little combo, because this teleprompter is so lightweight, it is so portable. You can go handheld with it. It really doesn't add any weight to your camera. It does feel a little bit cheap. I wish it didn't like kind of move around like this and stuff, but it is really functional, and that is what was really cool about it. So it's a little company, they're just getting started, but I think they've got a really neat idea here, and it works quite well. That's the Parrot Teleprompter, and this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.